Good morning. Welcome to session 9 of chapter 2 of company law, and we are going to discuss about doctrine of indoor management. In the last session we have been discussed doctrine of constructive notice, which says that the persons who are directly linked with the issues of company must have sufficient knowledge of its memorandum of association and articles of association. So everyone who is in relation with the company must have thorough knowledge of all the provisions stated therein in memorandum of association and articles of association. So here practically the question arises that practically is it possible to have knowledge of memorandum of association and article of association where a person yet to get the relationship with the company, means the person, it is difficult for the persons to investigate the internal machinery of the company before dealing with it, before communicating with it, before maintaining relationship with it. So under doctrine of constructive notice, everyone dealing with the company is implied to have knowledge of the provisions of memorandum of association and articles of association. Practically it is not possible, practically it cannot be thought of. So here there is an exception to the rule doctrine of constructive notice, that is doctrine of indoor management. So an exception to the rule of doctrine of constructive notice is doctrine of indoor management. Here under the doctrine of indoor management, a person who deals with the company is not bound to inquire the internal procedures or formalities. A person who is coming onto the relationship with the company need not inquire about the articles of association and memorandum of association, and there is no formality that the person who is coming into, who is ready to fall into the relationship with the company has to bound by the memorandum of association and articles of association. So he can presume that the company has complied with all the internal procedures properly, means the procedures stated therein in memorandum of association and article of association are clearly complied with by the company. Company is performing activities considering the provisions stated therein in memorandum of association and articles of association. The rule of doctrine of indoor management is opposite that of rule of constructive notice. Means it prevents the persons from charging of doctrine of constructive notice on them. So doctrine of indoor management is of great importance to persons dealing with the company, because in the absence of a doctrine, a company which avoids its liability on contracts entered into by it with outsiders on the ground that they have failed to inquire the internal procedures and formalities. Here it protects the interest of parties who are ready to bound bound in the relationship of the company, that otherwise the company may compel the parties, or otherwise the company may impose penalty on the parties, stating that they are not bound by memorandum of association and article of association principles. And this doctrine of indoor management, which acts as a compensatory measure and which acts as a measure which prevents, stands to the favor of persons who do not have sufficient knowledge of memorandum of association and article of association. So the rules of doctrine of indoor management, which protects the outsiders against the company, whereas constructive notice protects the company against the outsiders. Constructive notice protects the company, doctrine of indoor management protects the outsiders. And there is an exception if you go for the exceptions to the rule doctrine of indoor management, these points can be extracted. First one, knowledge of irregularities. A person who is already aware of the irregularities in the company management cannot claim for protection under doctrine of indoor management. Here, in doctrine of indoor management, one can claim protection stating that I didn't have sufficient knowledge of the clauses provided therein in memorandum of association and articles of association. But if this rule is not applied, doctrine of indoor management as a preventive measure not applicable for the person who has the knowledge of irregularities in the company. Okay. And second one, forgery. When a person is cheated or forged a document, or any third party, if he is cheated by a forged document, the company cannot be held liable. Okay. The aggrieved person cannot claim protection under doctrine of indoor management. If a forged document is transferred to a third party, then company is not responsible. Next one, circumstances inviting inquiry. Here, the circumstances arising out of a contract are suspicious. The other party to the contract is under a legal obligation to put him into inquiry to find out the irregularities. If he fails to do so, he can't claim under the protection of indoor management. The circumstances arose out of the contract itself makes the other party the other party to the contract to put him into inquiry to find out the irregularities, and if he fails to do so, then he can't claim protection. No knowledge of articles is the next one. See, the doctrine of indoor management does not apply when the person seeking protection under indoor management is not aware of the contents of article. Okay, so if he has not aware of the articles of association, provision under this doctrine of indoor management is not available. This is based on the principle that ignorance of law has no excuse. Of course, if you do not know anything, any of the provisions of articles of association, prevention under protection under doctrine of indoor management is not available. Rather, if you know articles of association, this is available, protection is available. Moreover, ignorance of law has no excuse. Okay, there is a famous saying. And fifth one, act outside the scope of apparent authority. When the acts of an officer do not fall within the apparent authority of such officer, means the boundary for every position in the company, there is a boundary, there is a limit for the obligations to be discharged. So out of the purview, if he performs his duties, if he performs his obligations, if he extends his authority, then protection under doctrine of indoor management cannot be sought. Okay, so any of the officers, if he goes beyond his purview of authority, protection under this doctrine is not available. This can be best explained by referring a case law, that is Anand Biharilal versus Dinshaw and Company. The accountant of the company sold the property of the company to third party, and it was held that, of course, this case law need not be mentioned. Just if you remember in the examination, just mention the case and need not brief it. Okay, you need not explain it. And it is held that, just for your knowledge I am telling this, held that the transfer was inoperative. As such, the transaction was apparently beyond the scope of accountant's authority. Of course, selling the property of a company is not beyond the purview of authority of accountant. Therefore, here in this case law, it is stated, it is the judgment is that the accountant is not liable to sell the property of the company. And we are moving on to the next aspect, that is comparison between memorandum of association and articles of association. Of course, here in doctrine of indoor management we see, in doctrine of indoor management ಅನ್ನು ನಾನು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ ನೋಟಿಸ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನೀವು ಮೆಮೊರಂಡಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನನ್ನು ಕ್ಲಿಯರಾಗಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದರ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಅದರ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಯೂಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೂಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಮೆಮೊರಂಡಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ನ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂತಂದರೆ ಅನ್ಲೆಸ್ ಯು ಫಾಲ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಶಿಪ್, ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಸಂಬಂಧಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಬರಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಸಾಮೀಪ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಬರಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಮೆಮೊರಂಡಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್, ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿದಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟಿವ್ ಮೆಷರ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡೋರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಇಷ್ಟು ತಿಳಿದಿರಲಿ ಸಾಕು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಸನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಮೆಮೊರಂಡಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್, before stepping into the aspect of differences between memorandum of association and article of association, let's see what are the similarities. Are there any similarities between the two? Yes, of course, there are 5 similarities between the two. First one, registration. Both the documents which are memorandum of association and article of association are to be registered at the time of incorporation of a company. Means similarity is there. Before stepping into the aspect of comparison, we are discussing now the similarities. 5 points are there. First one is registration. So both the documents must be registered at the time of incorporation of company. And title deeds. See, on the basis of title deeds, the similarity is both are the title deeds of the company. Both are in line with the title deeds of the company. Both are the important documents of the company. And on the basis of public documents, say, after the registration with the registrar of companies, both the documents become public documents and they are inspected by anyone on payment of prescribed fees. Anyone can inspect it on the payment of prescribed fees. Okay, stated therein. So it becomes a public document. And subordinate. Both the documents are subordinate to the Companies Act. Means on the basis of Companies Act, these 2 documents are formed. Next one is alteration. Both the memorandum of association and articles of association can be altered in accordance with the provisions of the act. In the sense that, as I said earlier, Companies Act which keeps on altering according to the necessities. So in line with the changing Companies Act, memorandum of association and articles of association are also altered. Let's move on to the differences between memorandum of association and articles of association. First one, it's compulsory. Memorandum of association is compulsory for all types of companies, whereas articles of association of the company is not compulsory for all companies. For example, a public company limited by shares can adopt table A for its articles. Means ready-made or mentioned table is there for it, so it can adopt table A for its articles of association, public limited company. And second one is on the basis of object. On the basis of object, it is serving. Here, memorandum of association defines objects and power of the company. Means, as I said earlier, memorandum of association which creates a link between the company and outsiders, whereas articles of association creates a link within the members of the company. Therefore here memorandum of association which defines the objects and the powers of the company, whereas articles of association which constitute the bylaws of the company. Means bylaws means the sub-laws of the company. Means it explains about the internal activities, internal procedures. Article of association of the company which describes the internal structure of the company. Third one, on the basis of contents, if you go for differentiating these two, memorandum of association contains fundamental clauses upon which alone the company is granted incorporation. In fact, it's a charter of the company. Okay, so memorandum of association which contains fundamental clauses which are very necessary for the establishment, for the incorporation of a company, and on the basis of those clauses only permission is available for incorporation. Okay, the company is granted incorporation. Means when the grant of incorporated is available, when the memorandum on the basis of the clauses of memorandum of association. So it is a charter document, means it's a very important document for the company. Article of association contains rules, regulations, policies, procedures to govern the internal management of the company. Therefore here internal activities are conducted on the basis of procedures stated there in memorandum, articles of association. And next one, alteration. See, in the case of memorandum of association, there are strict restrictions on its alteration. Okay, so it cannot be altered as easily as we write it on the black and white, write it on a black and white paper. So alteration takes time and money is involved with this, as well as a lengthy procedure is also involved. So memorandum of association which prohibits from altering it. Therefore, strict restrictions are there. Some of the conditions for incorporation contained in the memorandum cannot be altered very easily. Okay, say for example, alteration of authorized share capital, etc. What it is in the case of article of association, let's see. See, article of association can be altered by special resolution. To any extent it can be altered, but the condition is that they do not conflict with Memorandum of Association and Companies Act. So article of association provides for alteration, and a special resolution is passed in annual general body meeting of shareholders, and these alterations must be in line with the provisions of Memorandum of Association and Companies Act. And on the basis of superiority to discuss, Memorandum of Association being the charter of the company, it is a supreme or superior document, whereas Articles of Association, it is a subordinate document, subsidiary and controlled by Memorandum of Association. And ultra vires acts. So in the previous sessions we have sufficiently studied about ultra vires acts. Ultra vires means beyond the power, if you perform activities, this becomes ultra vires. So it may be applicable to anybody, anything. In case of Memorandum of Association, any act of the company which is ultra vires the memorandum is fully void. Okay, so if any act which is ultra vires the memorandum, it is fully void and which cannot be ratified in future, even by the whole body of shareholders. Okay, ratification is not possible. In case of Articles of Association, any act of the company which is ultra vires the articles but intra vires the memorandum, okay, which can be ratified by shareholders in their annual general body meeting. So ratification is possible if it is intra-vires to memorandum and extra-vires to article of association. And the last one is relationship. Memorandum of association defines the relationship between the company with the outsiders, whereas article of association which regulates the relationship between the members, and it has nothing to do with outsiders. So these are about doctrine of indoor management and differences between memorandum of association and articles of association. Okay, and here in relation to doctrine of indoor management, I want to explain you a case law. See, a case law which can be which can be noticed and which can be explained for the point doctrine of constructive notice, okay, is Kotla Venkateswamy versus Ramamurthy. Kotla Venkateswamy versus Ramamurthy is an important, very important case law from the point of view of examination, and which is for the rule doctrine of constructive notice. Let me explain it. See, doctrine of constructive notice says that the person who are falling into the relationship with the company must have sufficient knowledge of its memorandum of association and article of association. And see the case law. Fact of the case goes like this: the articles of association of the company required that all the mortgage deeds should be signed by managing director, secretary and a working director on behalf of the company. Okay, mortgaged deeds means ಅಡವಿಡುವಂತಹ ಡೀಡ್ಗಳು, ಒಪ್ಪಂದಗಳೇನಿದೆ, that should be signed by managing director, MD, secretary and working director on behalf of the company. But Mr. A accepted. Mr. A means Kotla Venkateswamy. Kotla Venkateswamy accepted a deed of mortgage signed by the secretary and working director only. Okay, secretary and working director only, and not by managing director. It was held that Mr. A could not claim under the deed. The court observed that if Mr. A had studied the articles, he could have discovered the fact that the mortgage deed which he took must be signed by managing director and secretary as well as working director on its mortgage deed, and 3 specified officers should have signed on behalf of the company, and would not have accepted a deed inadequately signed. Okay, it is inadequately signed, so he would not have accepted the deed. Thus, a deed signed by working director and secretary was held to be inoperative, and the party was not allowed to seek shelter under the law that he had not read the articles. So, Kotla Venkateswamy did not get any support from law on the fact that he has not read articles of association of the company. If he would have gone through it, he should have not committed the mistake that he should not have accepted the deed which is inadequately signed. Another effect of this rule is that a person dealing with the company is presumed to not only have read those documents, okay, it is presumed that they have already read the documents, but have understood them according to their proper meaning. So whatever stated in memorandum of association of the company and articles of association and should be read by the person according to its proper meaning. Okay, it's also presumed that everyone has understood the company powers and its offices. Okay, it is also assumed so. So this is the case Kotla Venkat Swami versus Ramamurthy. I've forgotten to mention it in Doctrine of Constructive Notice. So you have to mention it in Doctrine of Constructive Notice, and in notes I have given it. Okay. Hope you understood. Thank you.